Alright, so we all know about the Lamar Jackson jet ski incident that we all saw on social media yesterday. And to be honest, I did not think that situation was going to blow up the way it did. When I saw the video yesterday morning, my opinion of it was, yeah, it was a bit of a scary moment, but he got up, he was fine. Overall, we can move on, it's not a big deal. But boy, was I wrong. This situation blew up all over Twitter, and then multiple videos were popping up, and everything just went out of control to the point where multiple sports shows started talking about this incident and giving their opinions on it. And I was shocked to see it because I didn't think it was going to blow up this way. This situation, in fact, reminds me of what happened to Patrick Mahomes last offseason when he was playing basketball with a couple of other guys. And everybody was freaking out and talking about the possibility of him getting injured and missing the season or missing some time. And to me, when I saw that back then, I thought it was over-exaggerated and people were doing the most. Now that is happening to my quarterback, I still feel the same way. I think people are over-exaggerating the situation. I do not see this as a big deal. Honestly, I don't see it as a big deal. And I feel like fans in general, we need to come to an understanding here. And this is the main thing we need to understand about players. Players are people too. When they're not on the field, they're just like us. They have interests, they have hobbies, they have things they want to do. And when they have the time to do it, they're going to go out and do it. All Lamar Jackson was doing was playing football on the beach. He was playing football on the beach with his friends. He took off running. And by the way, let me just say this for a second. Time out. Because when you look at the video, Lamar Jackson was wearing flip-flops on the beach. And when he took off, he was running so fast. This guy wearing flip-flops on sand had so much speed, bro. It was crazy. I'm looking at this for a second like, this man really is that fast. Like, he's faster than you actually would believe. He's running that level of speed on sand with flip-flops on. This guy is an athletic freak. My God, I love Lamar Jackson, man. This guy's speed is off the charts, man. But anyway, back on topic. All Lamar was doing was on the beach, playing football with his friends. He took off, ran towards the water, which I assume was out of bounds for them, and there was a jet ski parked there, and it looked like Lamar Jackson. He ran into the jet ski, got flipped over, and fell in the water. If you actually look close at that video, you'll see that Lamar Jackson actually managed to stop and jump over the jet ski to avoid him crashing into it, but the video is not of great quality in terms of actually getting focus on that specific collision. So if you look at it from a certain angle, you can actually see Lamar stop and jump over it, but it's not great quality, so take what you made from that video. There's also a fuller version of that video where Lamar Jackson actually gets up and runs back onto the beach, but for the most part, a lot of people, when they saw the video, it just cuts off with Lamar Jackson on he's like flipped over in the water, and that's just how the video ends like that. So obviously that brought a lot of concern to people. But guys, we need to understand this. These players are people too. They have their own interests, they have their own hobbies, and when they have the chance, they're gonna pursue it. We cannot be sitting there and trying to limit these guys from doing what they're doing. It don't make sense to me. I understand that there's injury risks with going out on the beach and doing what Lamar Jackson did. Obviously, there's an injury risk, and there has been history of players doing activities like this and getting injured, and it ends up ruining or derailing their career. I understand that. But we cannot look at those situations and equate that to every single situation. Just because a small portion of players ended up getting injured during that time does not mean this other player that's doing it right now is all of a sudden going to get injured. There's injury risk with everything, man. You cannot contain these guys from doing what they want to do. There's injury risk in everything. When they get in their cars and drive, there's an injury risk there. What if an accident happens? Should they stop driving then? Heck, when you're in your house, you have stairs. That's an injury risk as well. Because when you go up and down the stairs, especially when you're coming down the stairs, there's a possibility you could trip and fall down the stairs. That's an injury risk. Should players no longer go up and down their own stairs in their house? Like, you can't just restrict these. It feels like fans during the offseason, they don't want players to be other people too. They want to put these players in a bubble and constrict them from doing anything else. You can't do that. You have to let these guys live their lives. These are young athletes out here doing a job most of us would dream of being able to do. But at the same time, they have other interests and hobbies outside of football. In some cases, you may still want to, do something related to football or do something related to basketball. We see this or any other sport, in fact. We see this all the time with athletes, and we see them go out and do other stuff that definitely brings risks. But it's their hobby, and they're going to pursue it. And as fans, we just got to understand that these guys are people, and they're going to do what they want to do, okay? They're people, they have hobbies, they got things they want to do, they're going to do it. We just have to accept it. Just hope that they do not get injured. But you cannot constrain these guys and put them in the bubble and say they shouldn't do this, or they shouldn't do that, or they shouldn't do this. Because at that point, they're not able to live the life they want to live. And I understand when you get famous, your privacy pretty much goes out the window. And there are a lot of things you got to get adjusted to, and a lot of things you have to deal with when it comes to being famous. But at the end of the day, that still shouldn't stop them from being able to pursue their passions and their hobbies. We as fans need to calm down about that. Obviously, me looking at that video, seeing him take that crash, I don't want to see him get injured. I don't want to see him take that crash. It's just something that's scary. But he got up, he was perfectly fine, and we move forward. I trust Lamar will be able to do things that will keep him safe. If that, that was a situation that was scary, but he got up, he was perfectly fine. We move forward. I can't say Lamar Jackson from now on, don't play beach football. Matter of fact, the only time you should be going out and playing football is when you're with your players and you're running through drills. That's the only time you should be doing it. Matter of fact, Lamar Jackson, you shouldn't do anything outside of that. When you leave your house, it should be for football only. Other than that, stay at home. I can't say that. We as fans can't say that to any of these players. We have to be willing to let them live their lives. Okay? There's injury risk in everything we do. If you start restricting one thing, you're going to have to restrict another thing, and you're going to have to restrict another thing. And at that point, you're just putting these players in the bubble. That's not fair to them. They're people too. Nobody stops you from going out and doing what you want to do. When you want to go to the beach or you want to go hang out somewhere else, no one stops you. There's an injury risk in getting your car. Should somebody stop you from doing that? No. And I understand it's not your job as a fan to be in peak physical condition because you're playing a sport. But at the end of the day, sometimes you got to be willing to separate the player from the sport they play. Because at the end of the day, when they're not playing that sport, they're just a normal individual, living their lives, doing what they do. And if you wouldn't want somebody to stop you from doing something, why as a fan would you want to stop this individual from doing what they want to do? I just don't understand that. Anyway, that's all I got for this. People need to calm down on this situation. It's not even just with Lamar, just with players in general. Just calm down. Let these guys live their lives. If an injury happens, it's definitely something that's sad and something you have to deal with. But we cannot let these guys not be able to do what they want to do, specifically because of the small portion of individuals that ended up suffering a career-ending injury doing something else. It is what it is, man. It's just part of the game. It's part of life, man. You can't constrict these guys from being able to do what they want to do. So we as fans need to calm down with that. But anyway, that's all I got, and I'm out of here. Peace.